A rather unusual but excellent location today is here. The wonderful Mansfield Cemetery. And to be honest, it's almost like an arboretum. There's some fantastic old trees here, and especially the old conifers, absolutely marvellous. All in all, there's some really good habitat here for using today's instrument of choice. The instrument of choice being one of these. This is a beating tray. And that's a beating stick. I walk around, and the idea using one of these contraptions is that you beat any of this under whatever bush or shrub or tree branch you want. You hit the branch with said stick, and anything that's on that branch falls into it. And it's a very good way of finding a wide range of invertebrates. I'm coming here today to see whether there's any of the smaller and less commonly seen ladybirds. Not your typical brightly coloured and spotted ladybirds, more the black tiny ones. So we'll have a look to see what we can find today. So it's a fabulous place. The only problem with using a beating tray, it's the one item that people can't work out what it is or what it's for, and so you get asked what you're doing and what's that many times. Hopefully not too many today, but you always get a number of looks. But this is a beautiful cemetery. It's well worth coming just for a walk around. But hopefully we can find a few bits. And the first, or one of the first finds today, is this Harvestmen. This is a male Phalangium apilio on the chapel walls. You always have to look on any old stone walls. I've already beaten Dicranopulpus ramosus and Paraligalopus agrestis. Right, I'm chucking some names at you. Just beating them off a little bit of ivy. You'll probably see more of them later. But this is a large Harvestman, and this is the male. So that's something, a decent view of one anyway. And here it is, the chapel wall, so we will investigate further on. And here is the female Phalangium apilio. I've just found another male, and we've got this female here sat on the west facing wall. One or two Harvestmen here. There's another one just up here, and this one is Apilio canistrini. It's a particularly large one. Now, canistrini is one of the easiest to identify because it has orange trochanters, which are the joint where the legs join the body. And in canistrini, no matter how varied the coloration of the abdomen and the body, the trochanters are always yellow. That's 4 species of Harvestmen here within the first few minutes. See what else will turn up. Just looking on some rhododendrons. I've hardly moved, still near the chapel. And there's a species I expected to find. And this is actually originally an American species. And this is the colourful rhododendron leafhopper, Graphocephala fenahe, or something along those lines. First appeared earlier sometime last century, and then promptly spread. There's now probably on every rhododendron bush in Nottinghamshire. It's not been in Nottinghamshire that long. Colourful thing, usually dark quickly round the leaves, underneath the leaves. And you'll find these in numbers on any park in Nottingham. Let's just see if we can get it back into focus. There we go. A nice colourful species. That sort of pale green, almost like a sage green, and then there's like a lime green markings on it, and the reddish stripes. Altogether, this is our most beautiful leafhopper. Not our strangest, because that would be Ledra or Rita, which looks like Mickey Mouse. But anyway, this is the rhododendron leafhopper, about a centimetre long, so good size, and you always get them in this time of year, sort of late summer, well into the autumn, of the growing shoots. It's a very quiet bit of the cemetery. This is all the old bit. There's very few sort of what I would term active graves. Not meaning that they get out and walk around. I mean in terms of people visiting. And this is the best part of it. And it really is a super place. I've found a myriad bug on the rhododendrons. I can't remember the species, but it's certainly new to me, and I've been trying to get some photos, but it looks like I've got to take a couple home and have a bit of patience. So what do you find? When you've beaten everything to death? And in this case, Ivy's took a beating. Well, this is cream spot ladybird. It's not an everyday ladybird, it is common. But you have to work at it to find this one. And there's also 10 spot ladybird here, which is smaller. Most of what you knock off is going to be small. A decent size 10 spot. We've got an Oteorhynchus weevil, which you get lots of on ivy. This is Oteorhynchus singularis, if I remember right. You get lots of spiders of various sorts and harvestmen, but this is a young Philodromus dispar. The Philodromus are usually difficult to identify, but I find these easy going by the shape of the abdomen. The abdomen's different shape to most Philodromus spiders. And you will get these indoors sometimes. I have one that regularly winters, not the same one, but in the kitchen. And here's what, this may well be a moth. It is. I can tell you what it was. It's Blastobasis adostella, which there's a lot of at the moment, and you often get them on. What else have we got here? We've got another cream spot ladybird. And there's an Anthochorus bugs there. That spider there, that's a clubby owner species. Clubby owner are all difficult to identify. There are some that are fairly easy to sort, but most of them look like that. Nothing too exciting here. Not the hoped for quarry of one of the smaller ladybirds, a Nephis or Skimnus species, which even if I did find one, you'd say, was that it? So we'll go and try somewhere else. I finally managed to move around a bit now, so I'm a little bit further around. But in fact, someone has just seen us and said, what are you doing, insects or photography? So I said both. Not very often you meet anyone that's educated, at least not in these parts. So we had a bit of a chat, and I'm going to head down there. I'm just giving Ivy another good bashing, and I don't do snails or slugs. I leave them to Christopher. But I can't help but notice these. Especially that white line around the shell. I've never seen these before. These that you can see here are all the same, bar one. The one being the biggest one, second up. But those with the white line on, nope, I've not seen that species before. It's just, you always know when you've seen something before. So you always know when there's something different. Yep. We'll look that up and get home, and we'll continue down there. You have to be careful sitting under this beech tree, because it's chucking things at you. If you look carefully, you will see that it's starting to drop its beech mast. I've had some near misses, unless they're split open. They don't come so keen. But if they're not quite split open, you'll see I'm dropping down now. You have to make sure you've got a good covering of hair on your head. But it's certainly dropping them at a rate of knots, or should I say a rate of nuts. Here comes another one, and another one, two more. I wonder why beech mast is called mast. Something to ponder over on my next pint, I suppose. Such is the mysteries of life and death. Why is beech mast called beech mast? And I know there was beech nuts. I used to love beech nut chewing gum, which was a candy coated chewing gum. Those were the days when you could put like a penny in or 2 pence in a little outside vending machine, and you'd come out with a packet of beech nuts or beech nut chewing gum. That takes me back to the 60s and 70s, that does, the nose. Anyway, a dangerous tree that chucks things at you. I've just beaten end of a branch of a large Scots pine. There's a couple of bits here of interest. Firstly, this beetle, unusual in its location. I might have had it here before or not, I don't know, but this is an Elassus Leviopter striatus. The other thing of interest is this caterpillar here. This is about an inch long, and this is a young pine hawkmoth caterpillar. So that will go home for rearing. What else we got on here? Another 10-spot ladybird. It's been good for ladybirds today. Different again, 10-spot ladybird. There's been lots of 7-spots ladybirds here today. All in all, a good day so far. So we've got to try and extract said pine hawkmoth caterpillar, and we'll take him home and rear it. Well, it's time to head back to the car. Look at this. There's some really old trees here, I tell you. And this is a fabulous old oak book. Won't look out of place in Sherwood Forest Country Park. And where it's not cut too regular, there's areas of harebells here. But it's just a lovely spot to come and bash a few bits. No one's come by and said, "What are you doing?" I've got a biscuit in, so whether they'll come to chuck Grandma around or not, I don't know. Anyway, we'll head down here. There's the chapel. I mean, look at that. It's just super, isn't it? Cemeteries, they're not sad, depressing places. Well, they can be if you know half one that's in here. As far as I know, I don't know anyone that's in here. And when you're in the old bit, you're hardly likely to know any of the old people anyway, that had died in the 1800s. Not unless you're going on a bit. But this beautiful chapel, I hope they still use it, but I have a feeling that they don't. And someone's taken to smash the window. So this is Mansfield, I suppose. So I've got my trousers are full, which sounds bad really in terms of continence. It just means I've got lots of containers with some little bits in that want photographing and that will want feeding, so I need to pick up some bits of food plant on the way home. And we'll leave you with a view. Poetry as well. You don't get this with your licence feed here. Leave you with a view.